Hi Mark, thank you for joining us. So I just wanted to spend a bit of time with you talking about why you Cardano, how you found Cardano and what you do here. So first of all, you are part of a two-man band for Upstream.
Yeah, that's right.
And so tell us about Upstream.
Well, so Upstream started its life as a stakepool operator. So late 2021, we started hearing about Cardano. Bought a bunch of memes, like most people do. That failed miserably. But then we discovered Cardano. And I mean, the reason we were attracted to that was because it offered far more than this meme coin sales pitch. So like my first exposure to Cardano was like a bit of the whiteboard video, or a few developers I already knew that had just started getting into blockchain tech, and they were like, oh, I've tried EVM, but Cardano's, it's all this different stuff. So that definitely like sparked an interest. And then me and Chris, we went down to the London 21 Summit. And that was like our first kind of real exposure to the Cardano community. And we set up our pool like at pretty much a few days after that summit, and then formed Upstream as a UK limited company, more as an experiment. We didn't want to go starting 4 years down the line, have a bunch of liability and tax to pay, so thought we'd do it straight away. But that's how it started. SPO, inspired by early videos from Charles and other people in the community, and yeah, me and Chris got together, set up the stakepool, and it's kind of how it started. Yeah.
Nice. So why the word Upstream?
Well, I mean, that took a while to come to a good name. I mean, initially we had a bunch of joke names from childhood. All these, I'm not even going to list them out because I did this. But Upstream very much like comes like from the source. I mean, it's a bit of a, easy connection, but getting involved in like blockchain and this sort of tech very much feels like you're like digging down to the source of where all this creativity and financial system and new design can come from. So Upstream was plucked out of that kind of idea, and yeah, kind of went on from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been around for a few years now, and I guess you're evolving. You've been doing more local meetups. I've been to a few myself. They've been really good. So what do you see as the next 12 months for Upstream? What are your plans?
Well, exactly like you said, we started doing these local events in London. And that was very much coming off the back of this summit, setting up a pool, not really having many connections in the industry. So we started doing those little meetups.
Yeah.
20, 30 people, grew a bit, which was real nice over the following 2 years. So the following year, we're going to build off that experience. What worked, what didn't work. We've learned a ton of lessons, but very much we want to focus on like our grassroots again. So, and what we mean by that is like I've been running a development agency in London for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a bunch of relationships there, developers that deal with standard web tools like WordPress and use languages like PHP and other things like that. So I really want to try and bridge those gaps. So I want to bring the knowledge I've learned in Cardano back to my, dev workshop. And to do that, we've started training a couple of my developers in Cardano and the world of Web3 just by creating a couple of WordPress plugins, for example. It's a language I'm already familiar with, and all we're doing is bolting in these additional functions that familiarises the developers with it and gives them a path into Web3 that maybe they didn't have before. So we want to build on that, and this year we've started our event cycle, what I'm going to call it. So the first one was a few weeks ago with the Oxford Blockchain Society, and they held a hackathon, and it was focused at onboarding new people and young people into Cardano that might, like they're all studying engineering and economics and getting a young mind and pumping it full of, Cardano, tokenomics, all this other stuff. I mean, they come out with beautiful ideas that you couldn't even think of. So that was the first event. There's only like 10 people there, 10 participants that participated in this hackathon. I helped judge it. I've taken part in a couple of Cardano hackathons before. tons outside of the world of Cardano. So that was a real good kick-off. And then from that, we've started planning two, I'd say, developer-focused things that carry on that bridge. So one of them is still coming up with the names, but it's WordPress to Web3. So that will kind of build on onboarding this huge pool of developers that are very creative in their little sphere of WordPress and whatever, and give them a bridge into Cardano and see if that talent has a bunch of new insight they can offer. One frustration for me was there was not so much PHP tooling. Yeah, so another event we're planning this year is the Satellite Community UK Summit event. So we've hosted it for the past 3 years, and we very much are going to continue that. Usually the budget has come from Intersect or IOG or Cardano Foundation, depending on who's responsible that year. And it's a bit up in the air in a minute. No one really knows where the community satellite event budget is going to come from, or if it's going to come. So we are starting to plan now. Discussed with you already about your great idea for a Pass the Torch satellite event, which is a beautiful way of presenting Cardano to the world each year, I think. So very much looking forward to working with you and setting that up. So.
I'm hoping it happens. Yeah, I mean, we'll still be doing what we can. I think the hardest part is not necessarily us hosting our part of the torch bearing event, but it's funding others.
Yes.
The real challenge is those that can't afford it. Yeah, so obviously today we've done the event here in Loughborough. Thank you so much for participating.
Thanks for hosting.
Hope you enjoyed it.
It's been great.